Hi everyone, it's Rebecca from Manifestation Guide. You're going to have to excuse my hair. I've done it like 3 times this morning and it's raining outside, so it just keeps turning out to be this big poof. One thing that completely changed my entire life was learning that I'm intuitive. And the reason that it changed my entire life is because I felt like I had everything that was supposed to make me happy. You know, I had reached society's level of success, 2 children, a white house with a picket fence, 2 cars. And I was fucking miserable. Like, I had no energy, I was exhausted, and I was so scattered, and I couldn't shake off this feeling that something was missing from my life, and I couldn't work out what it was. And then I really started to feel guilty about wanting more. And it was when I learned about intuition, it changed everything. Because basically when you're following your intuition, you are embodying more of who you truly are. And when you do this, you know, the reason that we're here is to actually become who we truly are. And the way that you do that is to follow your intuition. So our physical body requires food, sun, and water, and that's what kind of gives the body nutrients and helps it to grow and regenerate. But your soul, the way that we give it nutrients is by following the intuition, by following those hunches, that impulse, you know, and just going with that. I don't know how I know, but somehow it just feels right. When you do that, you start to feel so energized. You feel more like yourself, you know, magic starts to happen, things start to unfold. I have clients, they come to me and they're like, I have everything. I have like 10 cars parked in the driveway. I have, you know, the husband, the job that I always wanted, and I just feel miserable. And I'm like, are you following your intuition? And they're like, what is that? Because also the intuition is self-expression, and it can be a little scary sometimes. You do need a lot of courage. But here's the thing, what I saw when I started like training my intuition, I really struggled to train my intuition, and it shouldn't be a struggle because, you know, it's innate within all of us. It's one of our most basic survival instincts. But the reason that we really struggle to follow our intuition is because of our subconscious programming. Another thing that I tend to see is that sameness is our first tier of survival. So being like everyone else. They've even done tests on this where they will literally like draw a line on one side of the page and say, for example, it's 5 centimeters. And then you can say, is the line as long as A, B, or C? So it's like line C is also 5 centimeters, and you can see it really clear that the line on the left side of the paper is the same length as line C, and line A is a little bit shorter and line B is like a little bit longer. So they'll have like 5 actors there and then just like a common person, and all of the actors will say it's like line A, like it's a 100%, and you can see clear as anything that the line on the left side and line C are the same length. And then you can see how the person wants to say C, and then they're like, okay, and so they end up choosing A because everybody else is doing it, and they've done these tests for years and years and years. And so here's the thing with intuition. When you start to follow your intuition, it's like you're breaking away from the tribe, which is very scary. This starts to, you know, play in on our survival. The other thing I tend to see with intuition is when you start becoming intuitive, you can kind of freak people out a little bit because you can see through their bullshit. And obviously that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. So when I started being intuitive, this was probably the worst thing for my ex-husband, who was cheating on me, because he couldn't actually hide that anymore. And so in order to try and hide that, he would actually gaslight me and tell me that I'm crazy and that I'm being irrational and that I'm being an idiot. And, you know, if we have grown up and we have this thing where we just like live off people pleasing and external validation, again, we're going to choose that over being intuitive. Being intuitive is, people will tell me, you know, I want to manifest more money. I'm like, why do you want to manifest more money? And it's because they want to be free. And the way that you actually begin to be really truly free is to follow your intuition, because you can have all the money in the world, but if you're not expressing yourself and you're not following those hunches, you're going to end up with depression. Depression, the Latin word is suppression, so suppressing the feelings. And there's just so many things that kind of flow into it. And a lot of my clients will come and they're like, how do I quiet my mind? Because we are always getting intuitive guidance. Like, it's coming in non-stop all the time in all these different ways. And it's much easier to hear when you are in a place of stillness. And the way that I explain it is, if you are driving down the freeway at like 200 kilometers an hour before we had GPS and everything, you would have missed all of the signs, like all of the turn-off signs. But if you're just driving down the freeway, your nervous system's regulated, you're listening to some music, you see the sign, you put your indicator on, you take the exit, it just makes the trip much more easier. So here's another thing that tends to happen with intuition. It's kind of like slowing down helps you to speed up. And this is where I used to get tripped up. I couldn't slow down, like I couldn't stop. The first time I tried to meditate, it felt like torture. I think I sat there for 20 seconds. I was like, get me the fuck out of here. I've got like kids to feed and a house to renovate. And it was like this slow form of torture. So even before you actually start like training your intuition, it's really powerful to prepare yourself and to get rid of all of these subconscious programs where you don't feel safe, to rewrite anything where it's kind of like your first and foremost part of your survival to be like everyone else, to please everyone else. So when you clear all of that shit out and all of the blocks, it's so much easier to actually follow your intuition, as opposed to just, okay, I'm going to get up tomorrow and just follow every intuitive hit. You're probably going to freak the fuck out of your nervous system. Because of this, I am actually doing a free class, and it's how to quieten your mind so that you can hear your intuition. It will go between probably 30 minutes to an hour, and I'm going to give you some really epic tools to start clearing all of the shit that is holding you back from living an intuitive life, because the intuitive life is your life. It's the reason you came here. It's the message you're supposed to be sharing, the gifts you're supposed to be giving, and it's really difficult to do that when you are the thing that's coming in, it's like energetically constipated with like all this shit. Don't forget, we had all those past lives as well where we were burnt, hung, drowned, humiliated, and we had tomatoes thrown at us in front of like everyone. So it's all that stuff has to go, and then it's much easier to be intuitive than doing what I did. And it's just like, okay, I'm just going to start being intuitive. I'm still getting rid of old programs now. It kind of feels like I did it back to front. So if you guys want to join, I would absolutely love to have you there. And it's going to be next Tuesday, which I think is the 8th, and I think it's the Lions Portal. Wait, I've just come out of school holidays. I am going to have to check the dates. Please bear with me. But it will be the information will be all there. Hope to see you there.